Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Thursday already? I'm doing okay. Oh, girl, we got some big news. Wendy Williams is speaking out against her guardian, but it is very cautiously. Let me show you what I mean. So this morning, Wendy Williams went on the Breakfast Club. At the time of the recording of this video was about 3 hours ago, or maybe 4 hours ago that it did air. And we did get a little bit of a warning that this was going to happen yesterday, and I was definitely looking forward to it. Then again, somebody sent me, Jennifer, shout out to you, Jennifer Preston, she sent me a video or a post that was saying that they were going to do it this morning as well, or she might have tagged me in something. And here it is. Now, I do have about 14 minutes of it, but y'all, it's long. There's like a lot of talking about it because there's some talking with Wendy, and Wendy actually speaks herself. But then there's also some further discussion that is had by the hosts of the Breakfast Club after the interview with Wendy ends. And they're talking about how, one of them had gone to the pretty much like asylum where they're keeping Wendy to try and visit her. And she's on the phone with Wendy. And Wendy's like, yeah, let her up. And the security guards there were like, we don't know any Wendy. We don't know any Sabrina. They really like pretty much acted brand new once Sabrina Morrissey told them not to let this lady go in there. I mean, there does seem to be some things that are amiss, but you know what? I do think it is time for a reckoning. Now, I do want to warn y'all about something, okay? During times like this, whenever guardianship abuse and guardianship misuse and stuff like that starts to make an appearance in the media, a lot of times it's accompanied by a bill or an act or something that they're trying to say is going to help. It's going to help reform guardianships, but they don't really reform them in good ways. And that is happening again right now. Just yesterday, Letitia James determined and decided and announced publicly that they're going to be implementing some guardianship reform because the system is broken. Yay, sounds good, right? Not so fast. You know what the guardianship reform is? State taxpayer funded guardians, aka slave owners. Okay, so like there is no way that you're going to convince me that Wendy Williams is not in a form of slavery right now. There's no way you can convince me. Okay, that is my opinion. Wendy Williams is in slavery, and her slave owner is Sabrina Morrissey, is my opinion. Wendy says she can't leave. She can't get in the elevator without a key. She can't have a visitor without permission, and no one can call her. She says she don't have a laptop. She don't have an iPad. Now, somebody like Beth Karras, she don't seem to think that this is a problem. She don't seem to understand why I'm so obsessed. So when Beth Karras gets put in a conservatorship, y'all just make sure nobody fights to free her out of it. Beth Karras, when your ass is in a conservatorship and your family can't call you, and they can't visit you, and you can't leave, and you got a Sabrina Morrissey type in charge of your healthcare, your life, and your finances, then you can decide and determine why it was that I was so, quote, obsessed with it. But until then, shut the fuck up and don't mention my name again, bitch. Let's listen to some of what Wendy had to say.
I'm going to tell everybody what's going on. Wendy Williams is currently trapped in a conservatorship. If you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves.
Okay, so just so y'all know, this is about 15 minute compilation of just a few things that I found interesting in the interview. Again, this is not supposed to be indicative or representative of the entire interview. I have cut some parts out. I don't even know if they're all in order because it's like 3 different clips I found online and I put them all together. They could even be out of order. I don't know. I just wanted to show y'all a little sampling. If you want to watch the full thing, it is available. It was put up today. I think you can see it on YouTube. It's on Twitter. There's like different places you can see it, but this is just like 3 different clips that I clipped together. I don't know if they're even in order, like I said, but I do want y'all to hear some of the stuff Wendy and her niece, Alex, have to say.
Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying?
I am not cognitively impaired.
No, but I feel like I am in prison.
I feel like I'm in prison.
Understand what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in New York City, right? And by the way, my apartment has been sold, thank God, a while ago. But I'm in this place where the people are in their 90s and their 80s. There's something wrong with these people here on this floor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not saying something bad. I'm just saying that I am with these people. I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner right here on the bed.
She said, I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner right here on the bed.
Right? I watch TV, I listen to radio, I look at the window, I talk on the phone. And by the way,
she can't leave. She sits there, watches TV, looks at the window, and talks on the phone. Nobody can call her. She can't get in the elevator and go walk outside without permission.
Alex, talk about this phone, please. Alex, you've been right here where I am, so you know exactly what you're talking about.
What she's saying is exactly what's happened. She's there in New York.
So now this is Wendy's niece, Alex, speaking on the phone. And I think they have Alex here because maybe Wendy has signed some agreements or been ordered where she can't say certain things. Maybe Alex can. I'm really not sure. But Alex is here also telling her side as a family member of Wendy and how traumatic and difficult it has been to visit Wendy and to have contact with her whenever the guardian, the slave owner, in my opinion, is not allowing it.
New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison. This is her room. That's
a luxury prison.
Really her apartment. It's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window. The buildings across the street. That's her life.
Excuse me. Through my money, I had this person buy the TV, the kind of TV I like, a large TV.
She's saying that she even had to use her own money to buy a TV so she could watch TV in there.
Understand what I'm saying?
The person, I think, is the guardian.
Through this person, because all of my stuff is in storage. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything's in storage. And by the way, that was to sell my apartment. But anyway.
Is the person your guardian? Is that who you're referring to, your guardian?
Yes.
Well, Sabrina Morrissey is her name. And right now, A&E Network and Lifetime were sued by Sabrina. She claims they exploited you in a vulnerable state. They exploited your condition, and I'm putting.
So then Charlemagne outlines the lawsuits. There's lawsuits going on. This guardian right here that, like, imagine going in for your business picture, and this is your smile. I can't even do it. Cheese. Say cheese. Okay, so anyway. Her, Miss Tightmouth, she's the one saying Wendy Williams don't have capacity. She can't make her own decisions. Now, she's done sued A&E and somebody else over there for the documentary that came out about Wendy. But then they done sued her back, A&E and whoever produced that documentary about Wendy. Because in the documentary made that guardian look real bad. It's like, where's that guardian? She's supposed to be taking care of Wendy. Where is she even? Where even is she? So she sued them for making her and Wendy look bad, which, they kind of did. And then they sued back. So there's court cases going on.
Condition in air quotes. Mm-hmm. You signed to do that documentary without your consent, but A&E and Lifetime countersued and said that Sabrina realized the documentary would question the quality of her own guardianship. It actually says in the lawsuit, it appears that Morrissey is misusing her position as a guardian of Williams to silence criticism of her controversial and failed administration of the guardianship.
So Charlemagne is just reading a quote from one of the lawsuits against Sabrina Morrissey, the guardian, and he is saying that the A&E and all of them are accusing Sabrina of misusing her authority as Wendy's guardian in order to silence dissent and criticism of her, the guardian, trying to say, well, because I'm Wendy's guardian, you can't criticize me or whatever. And A&E is like, we're not having it.
They even used the words guardianship abuse. What do you think of that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, me and the person that you were just talking about, this guardian person, we watched that 4-part thing on TV together. She was the one who wanted to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm watching and writing things down, and she's watching and writing things down, and I saw her. I saw all of that, by the way. And what do I think about being abused? Listen, look, this system is broken.
True, the system is broken, but y'all don't get it twisted. Don't be clapping, arfing like seals over Letitia James, because what she's just trying to do is just make whoever is the conservator just a little different than it is now. So I actually believe we need to completely abolish the conservatorship system. I think we actually need to completely abolish the guardianship system. And I think we should actually completely abolish any system that allows another person to take over someone's inalienable rights. I haven't always thought this, but yes, we just need to end them. We just need to abolish it. We just have to get rid of it. We just have to. This is not going to cut it. Some of the most famous people and some of the richest people ever have been in conservatorships, and it's not always for their own good. Y'all know it. I know it, and everybody knows it. They can try to make me look crazy on TV for being worried about it. It's going to be all fun and games until their kids try to put them in a conservatorship, or their business partners try to put them in a conservatorship. But I can promise you one thing. If Sabrina ends up in one, if Nancy Grace ends up in one, if Beth Karras ends up in one, you won't hear a peep out of me fighting for their rights, because they've made it clear that they don't believe in rights.
That this system that I'm in, this system has falsified,
It's
a lot.
disgusting.
You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
No. You've been
God
calling,
damn it.
you've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
Right. And who I naturally am is who I naturally am. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And my niece knows all about that crap. I mean,
Like, they won't allow you to leave or have visitors, family members or not. So you can't even leave and take a walk if you wanted to, or take
Listen to this. She can't even leave.
a trip or visit family members. They give you a difficult time for that, and family members can't visit you.
where I am, okay, you have to get keys to unlock the door to press the elevator to go downstairs, first of all. Second of all, these people here,
Literally trapped. What if there's a fire?
everybody is like nursemaids, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They come in and they give your pills. You know what I'm saying? And then they leave. And I'm
Which
like,
I told you not to take. I told you don't take them pills.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and that was the end of that first clip. So here's another clip. I don't know if it came before or after, but let's just listen to this one.
Said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
You've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
Right. I just want to underscore what you were saying, Charlene, as well, and that is this is still a legal situation.
So this is the niece, Alex. She comes in and she says this is still a legal situation. So there's a lot of stuff that Wendy cannot say. So don't think, oh, Wendy's crazy. She has memory problems. Like the stuff that she's declining to answer, saying, I don't want to talk about that. It's because maybe she, for legal reasons, she's not able to talk about it. It's not because she's not able to talk about it.
So yes, there are things that my aunt just can't talk about. Yeah. There are things that we as a family can't talk about,
That's right.
you know? But I think that the thing that we can talk about is the fact that my aunt sounds great.
Yes.
I've seen her in a very limited capacity, but I've seen her. We're talking to her. This does not match an incapacitated person.
Not at
and
all.
she, like, that's why we say she's in like a luxury prison.
Right. Yes. Like if somebody is this with it, what exactly is the legal standard for taking away someone's rights? What they're describing is incarceration. It's enforced by the state. The state appointed this guardian. The law says that Wendy has to be property pretty much of this guardian. The guardian gets to decide whether or not Wendy Williams sees her own children, her own father. This is slavery, okay? This is slavery. Guess how Sabrina Morrissey is getting paid? Wendy Williams money. They're just taking it. And Wendy does sound just fine to me. How many people get dementia and Alzheimer's as old people? A lot. I don't even know. I'm not even sure Wendy has dementia. I mean, she disputes this, but let's just even say she does. So because you have dementia, you don't get to see your kids. You don't get to see your dad. You don't get to see your nieces, your nephews. You don't get to leave the building you're in. You don't get the luxury, the freaking right to go outside and see the sunshine. Wendy wants to go to Florida. They're keeping her in New York. Wendy is enslaved. The woman is incarcerated at best, enslaved at worst. Wendy does not choose the medications that she is on. She said she is on 7 medications. Her whole life, she only took 2 different medications each day or whatever. And now she's on 7. And she's like, excuse me, doctor, what is this pill for? She's not even aware of what medicines they're giving her. They're pumping her full of their drug of choice in an incarceration setting. What the is this? What is this?
Because she is being held and she is being punished. All I'm saying is just treat the woman with dignity.
Absolutely.
and give her the freedoms that she deserves.
Well, let's say let's say what Wendy wants. Wendy wants to be, released out of this conservatorship, but she wants to be in Miami
With her family.
Yeah.
with you, Alex, and with the rest of the family. Her son, she wants to be in Miami. She's made this known. She's told everybody she needs to tell. I don't know why it's not happening.
Let me just say about Miami, okay? The entire family now lives in Miami, and my son is doing such a great job. He graduated, and I was in Miami, and that was about a month ago.
Yep.
Alex, talk about the great time that we had and seeing my dad. We all went out and had.
So last month, Wendy Williams went to her son's graduation, and she looked great.
Like a party at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm allowed to fly to Miami to say happy birthday to my dad, to get him. Well, that person that you talk.
Her dad's 94 years old. She said, I don't know if I'm allowed. Wendy Williams, a grown woman. I don't know if I'm allowed to go to my father's 94th birthday party. I mean, I don't know how many more birthday parties you're going to have at that age, Like, this is pretty serious.
About who's holding me hostage.
Sabrina Morrissey, your guardian. We got to say her name. We got to put her name out there.
I don't know that she's going to let me because she already said to see my dad for his birthday.
I don't know if Sabrina Morrissey is going to let me say her name.
He's going to be 94. So, and
You
please.
hear them. You hear the hosts. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, wow. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of the person that's doing this to me. I don't know if the person keeping me from seeing my own family is going to let me even so much as say her name. This is crazy.
Please continue to talk, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah. She may not be able to come down here for my grandfather's 94th birthday. Every day is not promised.
Right.
One thing that I know that my aunt wanted, and we talked about this ad nauseum, she wants to be here for his birthday. Wow. And the fact that they are playing games about my grandfather being able to see his daughter and my aunt being able to see her father, I'm sorry. That is just absolutely sickening.
Like, I'm exhausted thinking about what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? At 94, the day after that is not promised. It's not promised. I have things from my dad.
And she's also just completely stuck in one little room. She can't go outside.
It's in storage. I might not be.
Yeah.
My life is fucked up.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
It is.
Alex, do you think
this is not acceptable? I, for one, put a 1 in the chat if this is not acceptable to you. We the people. People, sound off in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if this is unacceptable. What is Wendy Williams's crime? What crime did she commit to deserve this? What did she do to deserve to lose her freedoms and liberties like this? Sabrina Morrissey is the judge, jury, and executioner. She gets to decide if Wendy Williams goes to her own daddy's birthday party? No, something's wrong here. And this is what I've been fighting against for going on 5 years. It's going on 5 years I've been fighting against this. Beth Karras wants to know why I'm so obsessed. Maybe she could have a seat and take some notes.
You think that there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian
Listen.
because of maybe this phone call or because of wow.
We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, do this. You ready for what's on the other?
And they're talking about retaliation from this Guardian and stuff. But I mean, it kind of brings forth a question that I've had really since I started looking into Britney Spears' conservatorship, which is if the Guardian is in place for the best interest of the conservatee or the ward, whatever, if it's a guardianship, if it's a conservatorship, same thing. If it is in place for the benefit of the ward, for the benefit of the conservatee, but the conservatee is suffering and is distressed because you are their guardian, then that is not in their best interest. So what would make a guardian or a conservator want to continue being that person's guardian? Why does, for example, Sabrina Morrissey want to be Wendy Williams's guardian if it's not just she's drunk with power? What the best interest could Sabrina Morrissey possibly have in her mind for Wendy Williams? Someone she doesn't know, someone who's a stranger to her before this guardianship. She was just appointed to be Wendy's guardian. And she's clearly, according to what I could see in that documentary, never, ever around Wendy. It doesn't seem like it's Sabrina on the day-to-day with Wendy. So why does she still want to keep being Wendy's guardian? She don't really seem like that compassionate of a person. She doesn't let Wendy see her own freaking family. She doesn't seem like a medical professional who would know that going outside and getting sunlight and getting interaction with your community is something that helps cognitive decline. So why, I read you my question, does Sabrina Morrissey want to be Wendy Williams's guardian? Why doesn't she just give it up?
Their side. And as she said, I have to do this. There's nothing else I could do at this point. She's prepared for the fact that her phone might be taken away.
What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody.
This is a horror movie. This is like a nightmare. What if they take my phone? I won't be able to talk to anybody. Beth Karras wanted to act like she was so surprised and so distraught that I was upset that somebody couldn't have their phone. But listen to how Wendy Williams is crying at the thought of losing her phone. And look, this is just my opinion, but it's hard for me to see how this isn't just evil. It's not just evil. It's hard for me to see, in my opinion, how this is anything other than just pure malice and just hatred.
And, you all, what you're hearing now, this is a few-minute clip of what we've been dealing with for the last several months and she can get moved and we may not even know where she is. Wow. That was the reality of where she was during the documentary. We weren't permitted to go see her. So this whole documentary aired. Nobody's able to call her. Nobody's able to see her. The reason why I
remember that whenever her family was speaking out after the documentary, saying, we haven't even seen her.
Stuff with The View and Good Morning America was because she was nowhere to be found.
In the meantime, what
are we going to do about that?
Listen, here's the weird thing, right? While you're on.
And just like Wendy Williams has rights to see her own family and to hang out with them, her family has rights to know where their family member is as well. And we have Miss Prison Warden Sabrina Morrissey, in my opinion, sitting here like just deciding for the entire life. I mean, it seems like she's drunk with power, if you ask me, in my opinion.
The View, right? I got the telephone number. I could call Joy Behar, but my number is with the Guardian. I could call my friend Rosanna Scotto. I could call Fat Joe. I could call Alex. My number is not in storage, but my Guardian person has my phone. Right. God damn.
Alex, let me ask you a question.
Has had it for 3 years, by the way.
She's had your phone for 3 years, and she got control of all your bank accounts and everything? Wow, okay, you're right. Yeah, okay, right.
Now, Alex,
but that's what the news reports say. The news report says she has control of your bank accounts and everything. The documentary, because that's what got everybody, at least the general public, concerned. What do you think of that?
Do you know what? What I thought about that was that's something that, well, first of all, I don't want to watch that again until I get to Miami. Until
Wendy wants to go to Florida. She's cold and she wants to see her family.
I get, my life. Look, I don't care about watching that. You know what I care about? I care about, look, I don't want to talk about.
She's not allowed to talk about the documentary, I think.
I get it.
But I do want to ask Alex, you as well. So
Wendy I do want to say Wendy can't say a lot legally.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah.
So don't think that, when you hear her, don't think she's jumping around and she don't know what she's talking about. She can't say a lot legally.
And I was going to ask, who's putting out, like, the rumors? Like, because a couple of months ago we heard, well, Wendy's having this problem and she's incapacitated. Like,
they said she's cognitively impaired because of alcohol. She's incapacitated. She's suffering from dementia.
Obviously, it's not true. So do we know who's sending out those rumors to the press and to the blogs and all that? Do we know?
So they're saying, basically, if you read between the lines, there's a lot of slander and disparagement toward Wendy Williams in the media. She's got dementia. She's got brain damage. She's not normal. She's incapacitated. She'll never be the same. And they're asking on Breakfast Club, who's putting that out there? Is it you? Listen to the answer.
Oh, do we have any ideas?
Allegedly, from what we're able to see, all of this comes from the Guardian.
Yep.
In terms of, hey, she's incapacitated, all that. That's allegedly all.
Wait. So you mean a guardian can be working with the media to make the person they're a guardian over look bad? Did we see that with Britney Spears? Did we see that with Amanda Bynes? Did we see that with Bam Margera? I'm just wondering. Because there was a time I was called a conspiracy theorist for saying stuff like that. There was a time they were trying to make a whole series about me because I was so crazy. Everything's a conspiracy. Everything's a conspiracy. She's crazy. Why is she so obsessed? They're saying it, not me. They're saying that Sabrina Morrissey puts the bad press out there about Wendy to create a false impression about Wendy. But here we are listening to Wendy right here. She sounds pretty okay. And look, I'm not a doctor. She might have some problems, but don't we all? Don't we all? Whatever happened to this whole let's destigmatize mental health? Let's destigmatize mental health. Maybe we need to go back to stigmatizing it, because if you just admit that you got a little diagnosis or something, you might end up something like this. So anybody that got dementia just got to lose their rights and can't see their family? Got to lose their rights and can't call somebody? Can lose their phone if they make a statement? No, it doesn't seem right to me. This seems like slavery, and it seems anti-American.
On the Guardian, I'm only just saying allegedly, just, obviously to protect all sides, but
Of course.
yeah.
Because obviously it's not true. And the sad thing about it gives her the ability to keep doing this, because we all feel like, oh, if that's the case, then yeah. But listening to Wendy speak and seeing Wendy a couple of weeks ago at her son's graduation, you understand that that's not the truth.
Listen. As much as I want my phone, she can't let me have my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like I can call you, but you can't call me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't even know what kind of phone this is that I have. All I'm saying is that when
calls won't go in to Wendy. They probably pass through Sabrina Morrissey or whatever. I mean, that's what Wendy's saying. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I call you, you listen. If you don't call me back, you can't call me back. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I can't sit on the phone, and look at things, you know what I'm saying, and scroll through things. I can't do that. I do not have a laptop.
She can't scroll. She can't sit on the phone and look at things. She just said she don't have a laptop.
Yeah.
That sounds like exactly the same thing as Dahlia Takali said. But when I was concerned about that, people asked why I was so obsessed. Well, here's Wendy saying it. Do you get it now, or you need some more people to say it? Or do you need it to happen to you in order to understand?
I don't have an iPad. My life is my goddamn life. You understand?
Yes.
How does this happen though, Wendy? How does this happen, Alex? How does she end up in a?
So then they talk about how does it happen, and she says that she was in New York, she was doing her show, she was fine, she did get a divorce, which is the best thing that ever happened to her, and all that. But in the course of all of that, then the bank thought they knew what was best and all that, and I don't think she can really say much. As you could tell from the little clip I just showed y'all, she wasn't even really supposed to say that. So I do encourage y'all to go and listen to the full interview on The Breakfast Club. Usually I am no fan of Charlemagne, but at this point, shout out to him. Shout out to him, because I do consider him to be more mainstream, and the mainstream has not given Wendy Williams the time of day. The mainstream has not given her the benefit of the doubt. And the mainstream, I think, has been pretty nasty and pretty mean to her. And it does make sense that they would be, because if it is true that, as was alleged on The Breakfast Club, that Sabrina Morrissey is the one supplying the media with all this negative press, then it just brings back into question the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni suit, the media matters of it all, how Lou Taylor used Britney Spears' money, allegedly, according to Britney Spears in court documents, to sue a fan for the media matters of it all. The fact that Jamie Spears tried to charge $500,000 to Britney Spears' estate for media matters. And those media matters were creating negative press about Britney Spears, her own money being used to do that. So this ain't nothing new. It's not. And Wendy Williams is not the only person in a guardianship that is abusive, and far from the only celebrity in an abusive guardianship. This stuff has been a disgusting underbelly of our system since literally slavery was abolished, and clearly, as you can see, it was not. It was not. How do we still live in a country where a Black woman can lose her rights, her autonomy, and her authority over whether or not she sees her family to a white woman? How do we live there? How? It happened with Sabrina. It happened with Lima and Amanda. How? It's not only race-based anymore. It could be anybody, any race, any age. It's not even just old people. Britney Spears was 26 when she was put in one. Anybody still wondering why I'm so obsessed might need a brain scan. They might need a brain scan. They might need a scan, what's it called, a SPECT? They might be the ones needing a SPECT scan. Anybody relying on a SPECT scan to take over someone else's rights ought to be subjected to a SPECT scan themselves. Put a 33 in the chat if you agree. That's all I really have for today. In the meantime, free Wendy. Facts ain't defamation. Love you, minute. Okay, bye.